Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 7th grade concept of area of composite figures. This is 7.9c Readiness Practice, the Proficient version. If you are interested in exploring the 7.9c Readiness Practice for the intermediate or advanced versions, or the Readiness Practice resource aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description. So we have this rectangular piece of wood. You see it's 20 by 12. And then we've got this section cut out right here. Semicircular section cut out, got a diameter of 10. And we need to figure out what is the area of this remaining wood. So this is a composite shape, but it's got a part removed. So first, let's figure out how big is the actual rectangle itself, the entire rectangle. So the area of the rectangle, I'm going to figure that out. And then if we can subtract out the area of the semicircle, well, then we're going to get the area that we're looking for, right? The remainder. So the area of the rectangle is going to be pretty easy, right? So that's going to be area of the rectangle equals length times width. So that equals 20 times 12. So that equals 240 square inches. That was the easy part. Now we need the area of the semicircle. And so there is no special formula for just a semicircle. What we do is we take the area of a circle and we cut it in half. So pi r squared is the area of a circle. And since that's only half a circle, we are going to divide that by 2. You can multiply by 1/2. They both do the same thing. All right, so we're going to use 3.14 for pi. Now, we don't have the radius. The radius is from the center of the circle over to the side. So if we envision it like that, it's half the diameter, so that's going to be 5. So 5 squared, and then we need to divide that by 2. All right, so let's make our jobs a little bit easier here. I'm going to go ahead and just simplify 3.14 and 25 over 2. And then what I want to do is I just want to take half of 25 over 2, which is going to be 12.5, right? So 3.14, and then we're going to multiply that by 12.5. So I am going to have to multiply decimals, but it's just one basic multiplication. So let's do that. 3.14, that's our representation for pi. It is an irrational number, so it goes on forever. And then half of 25, which is 12.5. Let's multiply. So that's 20. That's 5. That's 7. That's 15. So now I've got 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2, and that's 6. Last row is easy because I'm just writing down 314 because I'm multiplying by 1. 0, 15. That's 6, 10, 12. It's 9 and 3. I've got 1, 2, 3 digits behind the decimal. 1, 2, 3 digits behind the decimal. And we are going to go ahead and round to the nearest thousandth or the hundredths place. So we'll just drop that. So we'll say our area of our semicircle is about 39.25. Okay, so let's subtract the 2. So my area of a rectangle, 240. I'm going to put some decimals, I'll need that, minus my area of a semicircle is 39.25. And then we just regroup. Take away a 10, leaving 3. I've got 10 ones. Take away a 1, leaving 9. Got 10 tenths. Take away a tenth, leaving 9. I've got 10 hundredths. That's 5. That's 7. 0, 0, 2. All right, so we've got 275 hundredths, and we're still dealing with square inches. That is the area of that remaining shape. For number 2, we have a composite figure here. It looks like we've got 2 trapezoids, and we've got a square, and we need to figure out first what this area of this strange garden plot is. And then we've got another question about we got a bag of fertilizer that covers 50 square feet. How many bags are needed? All right, so we got to do a little bit of extra work after that. Let's figure out what the area of one trapezoid is, because then we can double it. And I can already tell you if this side length right here equals this side length right here. That's a slant height. We don't really need that for the trapezoid, but we do need it for a square. They're both 4 feet. It is a square, so that's easy. So 16 square feet is going to be what I have here for my square. So let's get that out of the way. Now, my area for my trapezoid equals 1/2, and then I've got to take the sum of my two bases, multiply that by the height. Now, I've got two trapezoids, so I'm going to double that. So if I double that, what I end up doing, and let's put brackets so just it's a little bit more visible. I'm going to double that because there's two of them, right? Well, if I double a half, guess what happens? They just cancel each other out. It becomes 1. So the area of my trapezoids are going to be base 1 plus base 2 times height. Pretty easy. All right, so let's call this my base 1. And then my base 2 is going to be this one right here. Now, my base 1, so let's put this area of my traps. It's going to be 10.5 plus, if I were to draw an imaginary line down here, this would be, let's use a different color, 10.5 from here to here. This is 0.5, and so we can assume this is also 0.5. So 0.5 plus 0.5 just makes 1. So I have 10.5 plus another 1, so we're going to call that plus 11.5. And then my height is 3.5. All right, so if I add my 10.5 and my 11.5, I get 22. And then I need to multiply that by 3.5, so let's do that down here. 22, 3.5. And I'm going to get 10. That's another 10. That's 11. And I've got 66, 77 with a decimal, so just 77. All right. So my area of my trapezoids is going to be 77. And these are also square feet. So I'm going to put that right here. 77 square feet. And that's for both of these. Let me just kind of outline both together because we took both of those trapezoids. So then I need to add that to my 16. And I've got 13. I've got 93 square feet is my total area. So that's my composite area. But that's not the answer. My composite area is 93 square feet. And so let's put a box around that. But look at the question. How many bags of fertilizer will I need? Well, one bag of fertilizer covers 50 square feet. And there's 93, so one bag is not going to be enough. Two will get me enough. It'll give me 100 square feet. And give me a little bit left over. So let's see. You need, let's go and just put in a sentence, 2 bags. All right, so there's our answer for number 2. You need 2 bags of fertilizer. And then for number 3, looks like we have a graph, but it's not really a graph. It's supposed to represent a fence, slats in a fence. There's 6 slats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the white spaces there. And not going to paint the gaps, so we're not painting this section right here. And then this is one side of a fence in a square patio. What is the combined area of the slats on all 4 sides? All right, so this represents one side. So basically, we're going to figure out what this area of this shape is with those slats removed, and then we're going to multiply that by 4 because we need for all 4 sides. So let's figure out first, what is the area of just this whole rectangle? Let's pretend it's a rectangle. There's no slats being removed. So area of my rectangle is going to be length times width. So that's 21 times 6. So that equals 126. And we're dealing with centimeters, square centimeters. Okay. So we've got our 126 square centimeters. Now, we've got to remove these little sections. Okay, so this little section right here, let's deal with this one. So the area of a slat equals first, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's do 5 times length times width. All right, so the length is 1.2 times, and then my width is still 6. So I've got 5 times 1.2 times 6. Now, you can multiply 1.2 times 6, then multiply it by 5, but you can use the commutative property, right? I want to multiply this 5 times 1.2. This is actually the associative property. I'm going to regroup these. You can do that because I know 5 times 1.2 is actually 6. So now I'm just dealing with 6 times 6. So that's 36. All right, so the entire rectangle is 126. We need to subtract out 36 square centimeters from the slats that are not being used. So that's 90, but my answer is not 90. There are 4 sides. So then I need to multiply that by 4. And then we're going to get a nice, huge round number of 360 square centimeters. If you are interested in exploring the 7.9C Readiness Practice resource, aligned with the intermediate or advanced versions, or the Readiness Practice resource aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description.